8A, please come forward. 8A, Jamie Edwards, DNR, non-game wildlife specialist. Discussion on bluff restoration work to restore native prairie on Moccasin Bluff and Rushford Bluff, the east side. See attached letter sent to adjacent property owners. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
And where do we start?
Maybe just a quick overview of what the program is, and I'm sure there's some questions from the council.
Okay. We've been working on the bluff for many years now. It's been ranked by the Department of Natural Resources County Biological Survey as a site of outstanding diversity, which means that in comparison to other bluff prairies in the state, it's an extremely high quality one because of the diversity of plants and animals that are found on it. And so we have been trying to restore it to ensure that those native plants stay there. And as part of that, we've removed the cedars off of it and some of the brush, but as an ongoing effort, the brush continues to be a challenge just because the seed bank is there. Things like buckthorn, the seed can stay viable for 7 years, and so we're continually getting new stuff in there. And we're also having a little bit of challenge with some of the herbicide application on these direct south slopes, where sometimes it's effective and sometimes not, especially during really dry periods. And so we're experimenting with different timings, but we've been practicing with goats because goats eat primarily brush and have proven to be very effective in removing brush on sites. So the goal is to use the goats to reduce the brush, kill the seedlings and small saplings. The bigger stuff, they're just going to strip the leaves off and maybe some of the bark, and that might kill them, but it's at least going to set them back. And then the goal is to have the grass expand into those areas that are heavily covered with brush so that we can get a fire to go through there and be more effective at controlling that brush. So we hire a contractor. The closest one that actually has goats available for doing this type of work is out of Wisconsin. They've been doing the work for us in Houston County, and then we hired them to work on Moccasin Bluff in what I refer to as the Rushford Bluff, which is on the east side of town.
And restoration of the bluff is to the natural prairie habitat.
Correct.
Is one thing. The hidden agenda is rattlesnakes, right?
I have not found rattlesnakes on Moccasin Bluff. I know that we found them on Waxland's property, not on Indian Head, but around the corner. I've had reports through Jeff of them on the backside down towards the cemetery there, but I have not actually found them on Moccasin Bluff. Now, Rushford Bluff, yes, there's a very large den on that site. And one of the goals of keeping these sites open is to keep the snakes from wanting to move down. Now, it's not the be-all and end-all, and the snakes are going to move when they want, but it seems to help reduce encounters in areas where we've done the work. Because if the bluffs get closed in, they need to sun themselves, and so they go to the next closest open area. And
Can I kind of sum it up quickly? Are you trying to say that bluff restoration actually keeps the snakes from wandering?
It tends to, yes.
Except for the one that was done at Dolls a couple years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's not foolproof, but it does reduce the number of encounters.
Okay. That's interesting.
What? How does Moccasin rank Moccasin Bluff in the Rushford Bluff, as you name it? How do they rank in comparison to all of the other bluffs down the river valley toward La Crescent in the work that you're doing?
They're pretty high. They're one of the more diverse. On an average trip across the bluff on both these bluffs, I'll easily see 50 to 60 species of plants during that particular day. And then if you come back at a different season, then you can add another 30 to 40. A lot of the other bluffs, you'll get 25 to 50. But there are a lot of good bluffs. This area has a rich natural resource. These particular bluffs are very high quality.
And part of that, Jamie, is my concern, because of Rushford's and Lanesboro, the River Valley area, is trying to make a little bit of a concerted effort toward tourism, getting people down here out of the Twin Cities and getting them into the bluffs. And of course, this seems just a little bit counterintuitive to me, to be trying to create a somewhat hazardous, situation for people that want to experience, want to go hiking, want to go birding or camping or whatever on the bluffs, in other forms of recreation. Looking at the bluffs from the valley, taking us back 100 years, is really, quite unique. But at the same time, do you understand my concern?
Yeah, I do. I would disagree with you. I mean, I think people coming from the cities think it's pretty cool if they run into a rattlesnake. The chances of them actually seeing a rattlesnake are low. Obviously, if they go into certain specific areas, it's going to increase their chances. But I've had landowners who've lived on their property all their lives, and they said they don't have any snakes, and they go out and find snakes. One guy has a huge den on his property, and he lived there 35 years and never saw one. So, but it's, we're looking at it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
One of the questions I talked about, the question before, how about restoration? Does that give the snakes the critters they need to live off of?
It does include the habitat for them. I don't want there to be any misconception. It does improve the habitat. In terms of increasing the population, probably not going to see a huge increase because of their life cycle and their breeding habits. But yes, it does. Our goal is to maintain the population that we have because they're a candidate for federal listing. And if they get federally listed, that changes the game for everybody. Private landowners, state, everybody.
Then our hands are tied.